I recently watched the first Lord of the Rings film, The Fellowship of the Ring, in theaters. As I sat down in the theater for the first time and laid my eyes on one of the best pieces of storytelling and fiction ever put on film on the big screen, it made me realize that Peter Jackson did something that so many people have a difficult time with when crafting a narrative. He started the story off perfectly and followed through with it until the end. This is something I'm going to explore in today's video. Starting a story is oftentimes really easy to pick up. Before you start writing down a story, you have a small idea in your head about a really cool idea you might want to explore in a novel, a series, or even a film. An idea that you think that has the potential to be great. But what happens most often is that we get so wrapped up in one element that we forget to explore other parts of the story. Avatar is a movie that I struggled to enjoy. For one, it has breathtaking visuals and such an amazing and expansive world, but it falls on its face when it comes to its characters and story. We saw a deep dive into the world of Pandora, the world of Avatar, a world that James Cameron believes to have so much potential. Disney believes so too. And I think it might too when they further explore the world of Avatar in the next few Avatar sequels. I hope that we can have a better handling of the protagonists and that they're able to have excellent characters that we could all connect with. Going back to Fellowship of the Ring, we are introduced to Middle-earth. We are fully enveloped in what this world is and what this means for our protagonists. After being introduced to the world, we're introduced to the concept of the status quo, something you might have heard of, the normal, the peace. In this film, this is the Shire, a peaceful land in Middle-earth. It has really no issues and is familiar to our main characters. We're introduced to Frodo, Sam, Gandalf, Merry, and Pippin. We see what these characters are like at the beginning of the story. Sam lacks confidence. Frodo is free-spirited and wants to leave with Bilbo because he doesn't know what the world has to offer. He is naive. He doesn't understand life outside of the Shire. As we are introduced to the conflict of the story, the Ring, we have an idea of where this story goes and what these characters must do. They leave the Shire and they leave the status quo. They head off into a world they've never been to. They leave on a journey that when they return home will change. What I've described to you so far is what's commonly referred to as the hero's journey. It's an idea explored by Joseph Campbell. So many movies use this model of storytelling, and something I might have to ask is, why don't we follow it? You may say that, well, every movie has to be different. We don't need instructions to make movies. I understand that, and I completely agree. Something that you need to understand is that the hero's journey isn't a rule book. It's an idea that can be altered and changed. You may look at so many movies and not even realize these films are following the hero's journey, but they may follow it in different ways. Harry Potter, The Matrix, Lord of the Rings, Marvel films, Hunger Games, Batman, and so much more. The hero's journey is a great way to begin a story, but not a structure that you have to follow. It's a structure that can evolve and change and maybe even start as your basis to writing a story, but it could evolve and change. You could introduce so many different concepts and ideas that once you do so, then you can fully realize your story to its full potential. To answer the title of this video, you have to understand that you need to start the story off in a great and spectacular way. Start off the stories with characters that you can relate to, or start us off with stories showing us who your characters are and who they stand for. Give us the world that you want to demonstrate, the setting. You don't need a fantastical world like Harry Potter or Avatar. Explore in subtle ways, by the mood, the lighting, using your setting in ways that symbolize something, that gives the audience something to look at and understand kind of the feel. Something you can't forget is that you have to give us fantastical music. Give me a killer score that will make me tear up, and give me actors that will put their heart and soul into the performance. Draw me in from the beginning. You don't have to be like Lord of the Rings. Your film or story doesn't need to change the world. It just has to be meaningful and have a purpose. And make sure you follow through with that until the end. That's how you will create a great story. Hey, maybe making your story like Lord of the Rings isn't such a bad idea.